So welcome back everybody. Welcome back everybody. So I'm here to do this lab. It's gonna be on working with administrator accounts. It's gonna be very fun. It's a little long, but I believe that it's gonna be very beneficial for anybody that watches it. So this is all about Palo Alto firewalls, next generation firewalls. We're doing all the basics, everything. So stay tuned. So let's do this. Okay. So first I'm gonna go to the device. So I go to the device so that I can do the settings. I'm going to load a known configuration snapshot because I want to pull the right configurations for this particular lab. So it's going to be edu lab 3. The next has been, as you can see over here, under the tags, it's been loaded completely already. So all I need to do is commit the changes and then boom. So commit changes. So it's going to load the configuration so that we can begin the actual lab. Okay, so now the actual lab is here, so we're going to begin. So we begin with how to create management accounts. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is creating a local database authentication profile. How to create a local database authentication profile with Palo Alto. How to create a local database authentication profile. So for example, these are like accounts that you're going to have on the firewall so that you can always use that to log onto the firewall. Okay, you can create as multiple users as possible. So we're going to begin that. So you can see that it's still loading my configuration. It's going to be done soon. So close. Yes, so it's done. So the configuration is done. So we're ready to begin with the lab. Okay. So the first thing I'm going to do is go to devices. Okay, so under that, I'm going to go to authentication profile. It should be over the authentication profile over here. You can see it on the left. So click on that. So you click on authentication profile, and then from here, you can see add. There's an add over there on the lower bar. Give me 1 second. Let me make sure. So we can see that there is what add. So click on the add over here. So click on add, and then you type in the name. So this is a profile. Okay, so you're just gonna call it local database. This is what the name is gonna be. So from there, I'm gonna go to the advanced. So under advanced, I'll choose the type as an authentication. The type. Okay. So the type for this is going to be local database. So there are different types of what account authentication profile. So one is what the local database, RADIUS, LDAP, TACAS, all the things you can think about. They are all here with what's the name? Palo Alto Firewall supports all of that. So in our case, we're going to create what a local database profile. Okay. Once we've done that, then we're going to go to advanced. So this is where we add the users that we want to use for to use that particular account. So I can say all the users in this case. Okay, I want to choose all the users for the local database account. Okay, so once I'm done with that, I'm just going to click on OK, and then once that is done, then I'm going to go and now to the users. Okay, so users, again, users can be found under local user database, and this will be found under devices. So So devices, and then you're going to scroll down till you find local user database. Local user database. You can see it all the way here. So you click on that and then click on what? Users. Okay. So once you are in the users, you're going to click on what? Add. Now you're going to create a user. So let's say I'm going to create a user called admin Bob. Okay. And then from here, I'm going to create a password for this user. So let's say the password is going to be Palo Alto, so again, Palo. Okay. So once I have the password created, I just click on what? Okay. So the user has been created. So okay, user has been created. So now I'm going to go to the administrators. So I'll go to administrators. I want to add this user to what? The administrators. So administrators over here, and then under that we only have one account, which is the admin. Okay, now I want to add the user that I created to that account as well. I'm going to create type the name, which is in our case is what? Admin Bob. Okay, admin Bob, and then local database. That's the profile that we already created. So we are adding admin Bob, the user that we created, to the local authentication profile database. Okay, and then we're saying that this person is what? A super user. So that's it. And then so you can see the use only client certificate authentication web, use public key authentication SSH. So any of these things could be used, but in our case, we just want to just local database is fine. Product account profile, we don't want to do anything very fancy over here. So you can see now under the people that can log onto the firewall is who? Admin Bob. Okay, so let's walk back to what we did. So first we created what? An authentication profile. Authentication profile is simply saying, okay, this is the profile that we're going to use to verify our authentication, okay, whenever we're going to log into the firewall. And in our case, there are you can create multiple authentication profile. You can create a local database authentication profile, a radius authentication profile, LDAP authentication profile. You can use any of those, okay. Once that is created, then you go to your users, and then you create a new user. Then but you want to add this new user to what? Your administrators. So that's where you go to what? Administrator. So you go to administrators, and then you add what? The new user. You can see I say in the profile that this person is using what? A local database what? Profile. Okay. Now, once you're done with these things, then you're going to click on what? Commit to add to save the changes. Okay. Commit. So I'm going to wait. Once that is over, then I'm going to sign out and I'm going to log in with admin Bob credentials and see if that works. So I'm still waiting for it to be. So yes, close. Now it's done. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to sign out. I'm going to sign out so that I can come back in. So I'm going to sign out, log out. So you see log out is going to be, here, 1 second, a lock. Where's my sign out? 1 second. So it's all the way lower. So to log out of the firewall, you can see it's all the way, it's hitting all the way next to, you see, admin logout. So you click on logout, so this is going to sign you out. So log back in. So I'm going to log in with the admin bar credential that I created to use this login. So this is going to be admin and bar and then password. And login. So again. Admin. Interesting. What did I type as the password? Admin. Okay. So again. Okay, let me go back and verify this password one more time. Wow. So I'm going to log in with admin credentials and go back and verify the credential that I created for this. Okay, so sure. So again, devices. Remind me that so devices. Going to administrators. Admin bar is there. Okay, so I'm going to go to, so I need to go to users to make sure that the credential that I have in there is correct. So I'm going to go down to local database users. So users, oh, there you go. See, it's a username the way I typed it. So let me log back out and try one more time. But first, let me just fix it. So this has to be admin. Wow, okay, this has to be. And the password I need to make sure is correct. Okay, so save and commit the changes. Commit. Alright, this is done. So I'm just gonna close this and log out so that I can log in with the new credentials that I created. Okay, so it's gonna be admin Bob. The password, make paste what I copied easy. So log in. You can see that it's logging in, so it's detected it. So first the username I created was wrong, so that was what happened. So you see that's how you troubleshoot as well. So we're going to go monitor the system to see what the firewall. You see the firewall keep track of everybody that is anything that is happening, so it's supposed to keep track of information that are system. So you can see on the main interface is telling you that the person that is logged in is what admin Bob, and it keep track of all of that information. So but let's go to monitor. That will give you a bigger picture. Okay. You can see it keep track of all the login that I attempted to log in, all the failed login, authorization failed. See, when I did the changes, and then I logged in, you see authenticated user, admin Bob, admin profile. It keep all of the information, authorization success, so you can see all of that information. So great. So we're gonna go back. I'm gonna go back and log out one more time and log back in as admin so that I can proceed with the rest of the configuration. So okay, so I'm gonna log back in as admin and log in. So next thing we're gonna do is I'm gonna do what the LDAP configuration. I'm gonna create the LDAP configuration profile. Okay, so I'm logged in. I'm logged in with it. So now I'm gonna begin the configuration for the LDAP. So I need to first grab a script. So I'm going to grab a script. So lab files. So lab files. Okay, from the class script. 210. Then user data. So that is okay. Okay. So here, let me make sure. So first I'm going to go back again to our device settings. So device. So this is create the LDAP profile. Okay. So devices here. Then from there I'm going to go to LDAP. The server profile, so you have to go all the way down to server profiles. Server profiles is here. So under server profile, you see there's radius, there's stacker, there's LDAP. So LDAP is my focus. So LDAP, and click on add. You see the add letter button, add for here, and then they create the name of the profile. This is going to be LDAP Server Profile. And I'm going to configure the LDAP server. So that means that in this case, whatever environment you have, you should have your LDAP server. Okay, information. So it's going to be LDAP.pn w.lab, and the server IP address in our case is 192.168.50.89. Okay, and then click on add, and then from there I'm going to go on the right side and click on here. A second, I'll do this, so delete this one. So I'm going to select this and do some other configuration on the right side. So you can see the BN number is going to change. It's going to be base and BN. So I'm going to type it in. This is going to be DC equal PN W, then DC equal lab. So this is the domain information. The domain information. So BN the bind want to set that up as well. It's going to be cn equal admin comma dc equal panw comma dc equal lab. So these are the configurations, and then the password is going to be the same password, and required TLS connections. I'm going to check that in our case. We don't need that. So okay. So our LDAP server has been established. So now the next thing we need to do is go to our authentication profile to create our authentication profile for the LDAP. So authentication. So first you set up what your LDAP under the server profiles. Second, you go to your authentication profiles and set up the authentication profile. So we have the first one, like local database. Second one is going to be LDAP authentication. LDAP authentication profile, and this is going to be none. The type is going to be LDAP. The type, choose the type. Okay. Then the server profile is going to be LDAP server. We already have it, so it's popped up. So just select that. Okay. Login attributes. Everything else should be fine, and then from there you click on what? Advanced. So under advanced you select what? All users, and click on okay. So we have our LDAP server profile set up. So now the next thing we're going to do is go to the administrators. So that we want to make sure that the LDAP server user can log into it, can log in here. So here I'm going to create this user called admin Sally. So you're going to choose the authorization profile as what? LDAP authentication profile. So everything else is fine. Super user is fine. Okay. So now we've created the administrator. So first, again, you create what? The server profile. In our case, LDAP server. This was going to contain the instructions to connect to the LDAP server. Okay, that's one part. Second, you're going to create what? The authentication profile. This is going to tell the firewall which profile to use to authenticate the users. Okay. Now the final is going to be as with creating your admin user so that you can connect them to the server profile that you want to, authentication profile that you want to use. Now once we've done with this, so 1 second, let's key. So you can see in here we just created what? The username, but we didn't create any type of profile, password or anything, because this user is in the LDAP server. Okay, so sorry, so this should be under users. 1 second. But this is local server users. But in our case, we are pulling from the LDAP server. Okay, so this is it. So we're going to commit the changes. So I'm going to commit the changes. Admin Sally. So this is the user. So let's say So the changes have been committed successfully, so I can log out. Log out is all the way on the lower left, so log out of the server. So you can try to use those credentials to see, can the firewall authenticate the user that is in the LDAP server? That's a goal. So again, so admin Sally. Let me copy the password now since. And there you go. So you see, so we've been able to successfully link an LDAP server to the Palo Alto next generation firewall. We've been able to create a user profile for LDAP, and we've now been able to create another user account, an administrator account called Sally, admin Sally, and we've been able to use the LDAP's authentication to be able to log in. Okay, so now we're here, and as you can see, it tells you that who is logged in at this point. Admin Sally is logged in and through the web. And now let's go to monitoring so we can see the details that we want. So you can see LDAP authentication profile. So authenticated for user admin Sally authentication profile, LDAP, all the stuff that we need. So this is successful, as you can see. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to log out and log back in as a regular admin so that we can continue with the rest. So the last one that we're going to configure now is going to be radius. So admin a radius, like how to authenticate with the radius server. Okay, so now the last we're going to go, so we're going to go down to server profiles once it logs. So the devices one more time. So devices, so I'm going to go down to server profiles over here. You can see under the server profiles, so all of these different things are done through the server. So radius is what we're looking for right now. So we're going to click on radius, and then under that we're going to add. So you see there's a little plus over here. Click on that, and then you're going to type in the name of the radius server. So you're going to type radius, RADIUS server profile, and then in here we're going to choose the authentication profile. There's CHAP, that's what we're going to be using, but depending on your environment and what kind of profile you're using, based on maybe particular compliance, so you choose what is best for you. Okay, so CHAP, and then under that I'm going to add the radius server. So that means there's a server involved. So the name is radius .pnaw.lab, and then the server for this radius is 168.50. 192.168.50.100. The secret is going to be the same as our password that we have. The port is the same. So once we're done with this, we just click on actually we don't need this. So yes, all of the configuration is done. So we have the name of the server, the IP address of the server, the password confirmed, and we're all ready to go. Just select that. You select that and you just click OK. Once that is done, now we have our radius server, just like how we have our LDAP server. You see, so you can always add as many servers for authentication as possible. So now once I have that configuration, now next thing I'm going to do is go to the authentication profile so that I can create an authentication profile for Radius. So authentication profile, click on that, and then from here I'm going to add, see the class down there, and then from here you're going to type in what Radius, RADIUS auth profile. Okay, so from here you choose the type. The type is what? A radius. Remember when we chose the type for LDAP, right? So the same thing. So it's gonna be, so the type and the server profile we already created is gonna be radius. It's supposed to pop up. Okay, it popped up. Okay, then we just what? Proceed to advance and add the user. So all users from this you can log in. Okay, and then from there, okay. So Radius server has been created. Now the next we're going to do is go to administrators and add a user from here. Okay. So this person is going to be admin Helga. Authentication type for this user should be Radius authentication profile, and then from here we say okay. Okay. Now once that is done, I'm going to commit changes and commit. And now we're just going to verify the configuration if we're able to log in successful or not. So the configuration is done successfully. I'm going to close and let me write this admin down so I can use the name to log in. Admin Helga. So I'm going to now log out, as you can see lower down here. So login. So we're going to use admin Helga to log in. This user is going to authenticate by Radius. And now we can see that we've successfully been able to authenticate. So close. And then you can see admin Helga is logged in from here. So let's go to monitor so that we can observe more details about this user that just logged in. So you can see it's saying that access tab monitor. Oh, okay, so it's keeping track of almost everything. So here, so radius. So you can see that authentication success radius with profile. So authenticated you for users admin Helga authorization authentication profile is what radius authentication. So all of that information is showing all the details of where the person logged in, what object was used, the event, all of that success. So in this case, you can see that we've been able to successfully configure local admin database, local user database. Let's go back to this. So let me go to authentication profile. So we, on this session, we've been able to successfully create what our local user database. Then LDAP authentication profile. We have what radius authentication. So we've created these three protocols. Authentication protocol. They're very, very critical. Now that once we're done with all of these things, now the most important thing that we're going to do next is authentication sequence. Authentication sequence. Now, how are we going to be able to do authentication sequence? So we're going to set up what authentication sequence. Like if let's say you want to determine what the user should, the login sequence for the user should be. Okay, should it be local database first? Then if the user is not there, verify with authentication profile on LDAP. If it's not there, go to radius. So all of this depends on the user, right? And what the user wants to do. So first I'm going to sign out from this Helga account. And then from there, I will be able to log back in as admin and use the admin to make the rest of the changes. Okay, admin. And, okay, okay. So authentication sequence is over here. So we're going to go again to devices. So from here, we're going to go to the left side and look for authentication sequence. It should be right here. See that? So from here, we're going to add a sequence. So see the add the plus over there, click on the plus, and then type in the name, or just if you already have authentication profile, just what? So let's give the name first. So we're going to say, okay, first authenticate with LDAP. Okay, so LDAP, then radius. That means authenticate with LDAP first. If it doesn't work, then use what? Radius. Then we're going to add a profile. So we have LDAP, then second, followed by what? Radius. Easy. And you can just say what? Once we're done with that, you just click on any empty space over there and just click on OK. And you save or you commit. So commit the changes and commit. So this is how you do it. So we've been able to achieve all the objectives for this particular lab. We did very well. We've been able to configure or create a local firewall administrator account, which we did, and we then configured what an LDAP server profile. We configured what a RADIUS server profile. We also configured an LDAP authentication, a RADIUS authentication profiles. Then we configured what authentication sequence. Okay. So this was the purpose for this particular lab, and I'm so happy that we've been able to go through. Please catch me in my next video, and in this next video we'll be talking about, let me see what we have. We'll be talking about lab number 4, and lab number 4 we'll be talking about connecting the firewall to production networks. So we're going to connect the Palo Alto firewall to production network. It's going to be very, very interesting. There's a lot of interesting things to look at. As you can see, this is the topology I'm using. So we're gonna create this lab together, and if there's anything that you need help with, just come to my video. It's interesting. So we're gonna see, we're gonna create all these interfaces, connecting to the various wherever they need to be at. Okay, this is the fun part. Okay, so again, thank you so much for joining me on this session. I'll see you in the next video. Where is my whatever happens? Okay, that's it. So